Hey there everyone, welcome to Tales in Text and I'm your host Nisha Prakash and this is Bite Size Bharata where you hear tiny tales from a grand epic. We start our story in Devavrata's royal quarters. The prince is pacing up and down across the yard, immersed in deep thought. It has been hours since the conversation with the despondent Shantanu. And his father's strange words and behavior are something Devavrata just cannot get out of his mind. As he paces, he feels a warm and firm hand on his shoulder. Startled, Devavrata turns to find one of his father's royal ministers, a man he has known and trusted all his life, standing in front of him, concern written on his face. The minister asks, "O Prince, what is the matter? You seem troubled and have not even come for your meals. Is there something bothering you that I or the others can fix? Please tell us." Devavrata heaves a deep sigh. Looking down, he says, "Oh, sir, I have had the most distressing and uncomfortable conversation with my father, His Majesty King Shantanu, today." Saying this, Devavrata narrates the incident at the court with his royal father Shantanu. He asks the minister, "O minister, you have known my father the longest. Do you know what ails him? Why is he so sad? It seems as if he has had the most terrible news. What has happened?" The minister looks at the prince. An expression of concern passes across his face, followed by a knowing. He opens his mouth as if to speak, but suddenly closes it, looking extremely hesitant. Devavrata catches these changes in facial expression. Taking the minister's hands in his own, he entreats the old man to reveal the cause for his father's sadness. The minister takes a deep breath and closes his eyes. He opens them again and nods. Gently guiding the prince to a seat away from the servants, he says, "Yes, I think you should know the reason for your father's heartbreak. Although, whether knowing the truth will satisfy you or break your own heart, I do not know. Forgive me for what I am about to say, O Prince." Seeing the confusion on the prince's face, the minister begins. "A few days ago, your royal father went on a trip to the forest. As he rode along, he got separated from his retinue. He found himself on the banks of a river where he met a beautiful maiden, a dark goddess, the daughter of a fisher chief living in our kingdom. The king expressed his desire to marry her, and the maiden requested His Royal Highness to seek the blessings of her beloved father. But when the king did so, the fisherman refused to give his daughter in marriage to the king. And that is why, O Prince, your royal father, our dear king, is heartbroken. He suffers from the pangs of disappointed love and has been unable to forget the maiden of the fishes." Devavrata stared at the minister, first confused and then annoyed. "That does not make any sense. Why on earth did the fisher chief refuse my royal father's proposal? Was the maiden already promised to another man? Or was she dedicated to a goddess in service, which I have heard precludes some women from marrying?" he asked. "Neither, O Prince," responded the minister. "Then why did he refuse?" asked Devavrata. "My father is the king of the Kuru Empire. Surely the fisherman's daughter would have had a wonderful life here as his queen." Shaking his head in sorrow, the minister slowly replied, Yes, the maiden would most certainly have had a wonderful life here, O Prince. And yes, your father is the king of the Kuru Empire. But what stopped the fisherman from accepting this proposal was that despite your royal father being king, his children by that maiden never would be. And the old fisherman is convinced that this will be a thorn in the otherwise happy future your royal father is bound to give his daughter. That over time, her sons would not get their dues that he feels they justly deserve. The minister stopped speaking. Silence, heavy as a woolen blanket, pervaded the air. Devavrata slowly asked, "So, he wishes for his grandsons to ascend the throne? And because they cannot, he refuses to part with his daughter? A woman who also yearns for my father? Because of the throne? Because of me?" He finishes sadly. Shame fills the minister's heart. He has no words of comfort to offer the prince. So strange and unnatural is the situation. Devavrata thinks for a long time. He sighs deeply and nods. Looking at the minister, he says, "Yes, I now know what is to be done. There is only one thing left to do." Saying this, he rises from his seat, an air of resolution surrounding him. The minister stands quickly, looking worried. "What do you mean, O Prince? I hope you won't take any rash decision regarding this problem," he begins. Devavrata gently places an arm on the old man's shoulder and shakes his head. He smiles a sad smile and says, "Oh no, sir. You have known me from the time I was a little boy. You know that everything I do is well thought out and aligned with what our sacred texts and ancestors guide us to do. Never worry. I have a solution to this problem. One that will hopefully ease the fisherman's doubts and also gladden my father's heart." "Now tell me," said Devavrata, readying himself to go to the forest. "Who is this fisher chief, the father of that beautiful maiden whom my father loves? And where can I find him? Can you take me to him, minister?" "Yes, sire," replied the minister. "Your father told me all about where he met the maiden and her father. I can gather a few of the men who were in the king's retinue that day. They know the direction and the route he disappeared into, and I have a general idea of where to go next. But we may need to search a bit for this maiden." "So be it," said Devavrata. "Take me to that place where all this heartache began, and perhaps I can set things right before it is too late." Saying so, Devavrata, the crown prince of Hastinapura, the heir to the Kuru throne, went into the forest in search of the maiden and her father, determined to change his father's sad destiny. Thanks for listening. If you liked what you heard, like my video and subscribe to my channel. I'm Nisha Prakash, and this was Bite Size Bharata, where you hear tiny tales from a grand epic. I'll see you next time on Tales in Text.